What's up, people? It's your boy Joe here again. Today I'm breaking down the Game of Thrones Season 7 trailer that dropped earlier today. Before we get into it, just want to warn you guys, spoilers all over the place. Spoilers from previous seasons, spoilers from the books, even spoilers from that weird Season 7 plot breakdown that may or may not have leaked. I'm throwing it all in here. So just be aware. If you're not caught up, what's wrong with you? And then if you're not caught up, this might ruin it for you. Anyway, jumping right into it, we start off with this awesome quote from Cersei.
Enemies to the east. Enemies to the west. Enemies to the south. Enemies to the north.
Which anybody who's watched this show will agree she deserves to be beset on all sides by enemies because she's been a terrible ruler up to this point, and that's what happens when you're a terrible ruler. You find yourself surrounded by enemies.
Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it.
Right here, typical overconfidence, arrogance, typical Cersei thinking that she's on top of everything when she's totally fucked, and thinking that she can just walk right in or breeze her way through whatever problems life is going to present to her, and everything just kind of turns around, flips on her head. Here we see Lannister armies marching, Jaime and Cersei sitting on the Iron Throne. Okay, then right here is when it gets interesting because we see Tyrion marching, and to me that looks a lot like Storm's End. It looks like I saw Drogon flying in front of Storm's End. I say that because of the cliff right in front of the castle, and that's more or less the setup for Storm's End. So hey, I'm kind of hoping it's like a callback to the Field of Fire that started with Aegon's original conquest. I just think that would be cool because I'm super nerdy. Whatever, don't judge me. Next we have Daenerys coming into the Vale. You can see that symbol of Aaron up there touching the ground, having a spiritual moment. This was like she just touched down in her ancestral home, sitting on some weird throne. I've never seen that throne before, don't know where it's from. And then right here shit gets real. You see Daenerys' army storming what looks like Casterly Rock. I see the Lannister symbol. I see dead Lannister soldiers. Jon Snow brooding and looking all around miserable and constipated like he usually does. Littlefinger is trying to get into Sansa's head. Two of my least favorite characters, Theon and Melisandre. Who is she looking at? You can't really tell, but if I was a betting man, I would say that's Daenerys and crew at Storm's End walking across the castle. We have some wildlings marching off into their doom. Arya is by herself and cold in the north. More wildlings. Littlefinger plotting and looking like an all-around creep. Dothraki screamers warring and just being awesome. A boat on fire, most likely from Daenerys. Sir Davos giving one of his impassioned speeches that we all love. For my money, this is definitely Dragonstone. That looks a lot like Stannis' old war room and war table. The zombie mountain, I think, looking as menacing as ever. Let's pause right here to enjoy this wonderful moment of zen. Jon Snow punching Peter Baelish in the face and roughing him up. Oh my goodness, how long have we been waiting for Peter Baelish to get his comeuppance? 6 years? Looks like finally he's about to be found out, all of his treachery, all of his bullshit, and somebody's gonna take his head. Maybe Arya, maybe Jon Snow, maybe even Sansa. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have more fighting. Lannisters, Arya looking under a bed for some reason. Okay, let's pause it right here. I have no doubt in my mind that this is Jorah Mormont's grayscale ravaged hand. He looks like he's in a cell or a jail or just been more or less cut off from the rest of mankind. Doesn't look like he's going to find that cure. He might die a lonely and terrible death. which may be appropriate for Jorah Mormont. There's like a really big debate going on. Is Jorah Mormont a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he a hero? Is he a villain? Or is he a mixture of both? I tend to think he's more of just like a bad guy. For you guys that actually like read the books, he sold people into slavery. He sold out Daenerys. The only reason he even stayed loyal to her is because he kind of just like fell in love with her. He fell in love with her because she looked like his ex-wife. I mean, a lot of people like Jorah because he does protect Daenerys like faithfully, but at the same time, it might be time for him to go. I think he's played his part. Here we have some more Dothraki screamers. Jon Snow running with wildlings, looking absolutely terrified. And then look at here, we got Grey Worm and Missandei hooking up finally. Knocking the boots, jumping in the bones, getting between, and all up in that. But I was wondering how, because, you know, I thought they castrated the boys, you know, at like age 12 or something like that. So how they're gonna pull that one off, I have like no idea. That's like a cliffhanger in itself, so I'm definitely gonna be watching to see how that happens. And then right here, it looks like we got Yara Greyjoy and Alaria Sand.
Bow chicka bow wow. Chicka bow. Wow.
And hooking up a little I don't know, bisexual or lesbian action happening in Game of Thrones. They took out a lot of the sex recently, so I'm a little bit happy to see actually some sex and nudity getting inserted back into the show. The Lannister chess piece falling over, some foreshadowing. Two unknown figures taking a swim with what looks like dragon flame coming overhead, and then Drogon flying over a field of what looks to be Daenerys' armies. She has brought fire and blood into Westeros, and it's about goddamn time. 7 seasons, finally. The one thing I'm a little bit disappointed about is we didn't get to see the Hound. The Hound is like my favorite character. I know he's gonna be in this next season, but I just want to, you know that he's well and taken care of and still being a snarky asshole and killing people for chickens. But I guess we'll find out later as this whole thing goes on. Yep, that's the breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Sub if you haven't. Keep watching. We doing Game of Thrones all season. I can't wait. Peace. Drogon.